everyone, I'm Engineer Mahmoud, Senior Cost Control Engineer. Welcome to my Cost Control Workshop. Today, I'll talk about the actual cost of equipment, direct cost and indirect cost, how we track it, and how managing equipment cost effectively can improve project cost. And finally, we will be able to take a smart decision. Grab your coffee and let's get started. The first step in managing the actual cost of equipment is to identify all the cost elements involved. This means looking beyond just the purchase price. We need to consider the purchase price or rental fee, the transportation and delivery costs, the installation and commissioning, any taxes, customs, or duties, and finally, insurance and warranties. For example, let's take a purchasing request for renting an excavator. And as you can see, it also includes the transportation charges, and we have another example of purchasing an equipment, like a plate compactor. Also, as you can see, beyond the purchasing cost, there is the cost of the third-party certificate. By capturing all these elements, we make sure that every equipment expenditure is accounted for, giving us a complete and accurate picture of the true cost. After identifying all cost elements, the next step is to gather the source documents that reflect the actual expenditures. This includes supplier invoices, shipping and delivery receipts, customs forms and duties, as well as maintenance contracts or in-house maintenance records, which is the invoice register. Here, we can see all the details of the actual expenditures, the invoice date, invoice number, LPO number, cost code, supplier, and the item description. These documents are essential because they give us accurate, verifiable data on what has actually been spent. Collecting and organizing them allows us to track costs effectively and ensures that our reports and analyses are based on solid, real-world information. Step 3. Track depreciation or usage. Once we have the source documents, the next step is to track depreciation or usage of the equipment. For purchased equipment, we follow an annual depreciation schedule. Heavy equipment, like machines and scaffolding, is usually depreciated over 5 years. Light equipment, such as block cutting blades, drills, rotary hammers, and similar items, is depreciated over 3 years. For rented equipment, we track costs based on hourly usage using timesheets or equipment usage reports. Let's take a practical example. Here, we have a list of hired equipment with details such as the description, LPO number, hiring date, off-hiring date, unit price, and the total actual cost. Now let's look at another example, which shows the monthly tracking of equipment costs. In this table, we can see not only the equipment description and price, but also how the cost is distributed across different months. This helps us distinguish between working hours and non-working hours. It's also important to check how the equipment is being used. If it's only for site work, that's fine. But if the equipment is being used to support a subcontractor's scope, you need to verify the subcontractor's contract. Specifically, check whether it includes responsibilities like shifting and lifting materials. If not, adjustments may be needed in cost allocation. After tracking depreciation or usage, the next step is to consolidate the actual cost of the equipment. This involves collecting all cost elements in one place. You can do this in 2 ways: System system, download the cost expenditures or expenses directly from the system. If you are manually collecting the data, you can gather information from accountants at the head office or on-site. Once collected, it's important to cross-check with the budget. Compare the actual costs monthly with the budgeted or forecasted costs of the equipment to identify any variances. Next, record the consolidated cost in your cost control system, whether that's Excel, LP, or a cost sheet. If you collect the data monthly, Just record it as is. If you collect it cumulatively, subtract the previous month's value to determine the cost for the current month. This process ensures that all equipment costs are accurately captured and monitored, giving a clear view of the financial status of your project. Finally, once all costs are consolidated, it's time to analyze and comment on the results. If the actual equipment cost exceeds the budget or forecasts, the first step is to investigate the reasons. Some common causes might be price increases from suppliers, additional logistics or customs charges, unplanned installation or maintenance costs. After identifying the cause, report the variance to the cost control team or project manager and adjust the budget forecast if necessary. If extra funds are required, seek approvals promptly. It's also important to record lessons learned for future cost estimation to avoid repeating the same issues. Recommendations to manage costs more effectively include shifting some expenses to subcontractors when possible, hiring subcontractors at lower prices, closely handling and monitoring equipment usage on site to prevent unnecessary costs. Dear engineers and colleagues, managing equipment costs is not just about numbers, it's about making informed decisions that drive project success. When we track and understand actual costs accurately, we empower our teams to plan smarter, allocate resources better, and avoid surprises. So, accurate costs, better decisions, waiting for your questions. So if anyone needs to talk about specific topic in cost control, leave a comment and I will be there. So for your time, goodbye.